Good evening, Karan sir.
इवनिंग सर, क्या हाल है जी? हाउ आर यू?
बढ़िया बढ़िया सर। सर आप अपना स्लाइड शेयर करके देख लेते हैं कि वो शेयर करने में कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं है करके।
सर, I do not have any slides. I'll just be going
Yes, yes, it's
live.
okay, it's fine. हाँ, it's fine sir. हाँ.
So, sir, are we good to go, or should we wait for a
Sir,
couple of minutes?
so we are expecting around 70,
Okay.
more than 70 plus.
So,
So can we wait for 1-2 minutes, sir?
sure. Let me know.
Yes.
So I think we started now.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rana Karan, and I'm the director at RSL Distillers. So we are basically a grain and ethanol manufacturing facility with facilities in Punjab, Haryana, and UP. And we've been working with ICAR for the last couple of years under the guidance of senior Jat Sahab, junior Jat Sahab. हमने ऐसे इनको लेबल किया हुआ है. So and basically in Punjab, we have been working with ICAR closely on the spring maize and the Barsati Makki, which has been a newer concept to replace paddy, but which is taking time. So today I'll be covering a couple of things which have already been mentioned in the on the Zoom call, where I'll be covering maize demand. How do we make sure that it's year long? Quality issues. What are the industry requirements? Then apart from this, I'll also be covering a couple of points which are related as to how we started and what all have we learned as industry over the last 3 years with maize. So the maize demand is immense for the ethanol industry. So in the year 2023, when the government opened up maize and gave it a preferential pricing, the industry, realistically speaking, we had no idea as to what to do with maize, how to run it in the process. So we faced numerous challenges. So, but as industry, we've been able to overcome all of those issues. And on date, in 2023, we were grinding 0 kgs of maize. Today, we are in 2026. Maize has been the predominant feedstock supply to the ethanol blending program. in terms of figures, up till the 30th of May, the total supply of ethanol was 615 crore liters, out of which the predominant feedstock was maize at 225 crore liters, which is roughly around 36%. It is higher from FCI, which is at number 2 at 146 compared to 225 crore liters. And the whole ethanol blending program started, as everybody is aware, started with sugar. But over time, because sugar has its limitations as well, because the sugar industry has to take care of the sugar commodity supply. At the same time, they also have to take care of ethanol supply. So it's a very fine line that they have to walk to make sure that there is no shortfall of sugar. So that is where maize comes in. And over time, maize has only increased in its importance in the ethanol blending program. Now, maize, if you were to look at it this year, we are at about 36%. Going forward in the future, what we see is that the dominance of maize in terms of feedstock will only increase, because maize, apart from the ethanol and the DDGS, it also has another byproduct, corn oil, which I'll be touching on later. So with this, it makes maize turns out to be a more lucrative and year-long supply is available for this feedstock. And we see that as the demand for ethanol is increasing, there is a limitation with the sugar. Ethanol, where there is a limitation, they are sticking around 300 crore liters, 350 crore liters. Beyond that, they cannot do much diversion. If you were to look at the other side, rice also has its limitations because everybody wants to have a low footprint on water consumption. And maize, with the extension services which have been carried out in literally all states, in unconventional states like Assam, Haryana, Uttarakhand, even parts of UP, where maize is growing now. So the farmers are also, it's lucrative for the farmers to grow maize also. So we see maize being grown around almost all distilleries. A lot of distilleries are doing extension services where there is a market, the crop starts growing over there. So the maize demand there is immense. And what we see is going forward, if you were to take the example of Brazil, where Brazil was dominated by sugarcane ethanol. But over time, in the last 2-3 years, what has happened is that at a very fast pace, maize ethanol is catching up. And in the next 4 to 5 years, the numbers show that they should be at par in terms of supply. So maize will be competing with sugarcane in Brazil, which is the largest producer. Even though there is a lot of, well, they have commercial farms, there are various other things which we cannot compare India for. So going forward, with the increase in demand for ethanol, I see that maize will always be in demand, and the industry has accepted maize, and all the roadblocks that we had, we have overcome all of those roadblocks in terms of it could be recoveries, it could be DDGS, it could be corn oil, etc. Now, how do we work on year-long maize supply? So in India, as we are blessed that out of 9 months, out of 12, there is a maize season happening somewhere in some state or the other. For example, November, December, MP and Rajasthan comes in for the northern India companies. Then Bihar, by the time Bihar is finished, UP, Haryana, Punjab come in. It's only from August to September or October is where we do not have a crop coming. But apart from that, we always have a constant crop which is coming through. And how do we as ethanol manufacturers make sure that we have year-long supplies? By having a storage of, in the long term, having a storage of at least covering 1 quarter. So creating storages within our premises, plus going to, like, if you were to talk about our organization, we have a separate team which is working on only procurement, and they shift from state to state to accumulate maize, and various other companies also doing that. So year-long supply of maize is not a question, is not an issue. Demand is there, but with the help of ICAR, we have seen that over the last 3 to 4 years, how we have increased the country has increased our maize production from around 30 to 50 plus. And going forward, we see that this will only increase, because in unconventional places, states like I was saying, Assam, Haryana, Jharkhand, Uttarakhand, there is a lot of push on maize, and the farmer is accepting the crop. So from our experience from 2023 up to today, 2026, we are sitting in. When we started off, we had a lot of problems with maize quality, because there was no clarity, because it was the first time that maize was being used in distilleries, and there was such a huge demand which came in, that there was no clarity on what kind of quality will we be receiving, and every company had a different quality parameter. So if we were to talk about 2023, when this ethanol blending program for maize started, at an average, we would get maize at about, it would be 15, but in the industry, we would get it at an average of about 17%, 18%. And over time, what we have seen is that with extension services, with this market becoming more mature, now our quality parameters, which are at 15% of less than 15 and less moisture, then fungal and dust to be at about fungal at 4 and dust and TFM less than 2%. So the quality parameters have started coming into line. They are predominantly in line. But the biggest issue even today is aflatoxin, but that aflatoxin is limited only to spring maize. Apart from spring maize, whenever we are running any other crop, it could be from MP, it could be from Rajasthan, it could be from Bihar, we do not have any issues with aflatoxin. So aflatoxin, over the years, what we have seen is, with the mechanization in harvesting, number one, but also the amount of mechanization and post-harvest management of maize. We have seen that there are numerous dryers, for example, in the state of Punjab. Within our factory also, we have put in a maize dryer of about 500 tons a day. So likewise, there are various large farmers, traders who have put maize dryers. And with the help of this maize dryer, what we have seen is that the quality parameters and aflatoxin comes into control. And this has also pushed the amount of area going into spring maize. It has also increased that, because the farmer knows that I can sell my produce, I can have it dried, and it is saleable. Otherwise, there was always quality issues which were there. Now, if you to talk about today, the position on the ground in Punjab, Haryana, UP is, and Uttarakhand as well, predominantly is that a lot of rice mills who boil their rice during the spring maize period, their rice mills are lying vacant. So they have converted, by making some small changes, they have converted them all into dryers. So they run their rice mill boiling section into dryers during this spring maize season. which has helped the industry tremendously because this post-harvest management systems of dryers have come in. And some farmers have put it in, some industry has put it in. So these quality parameters are very much in line with the help of dryers. And I see going forward that in UP also, Eta, Chandosi, these areas also what we've seen is farmers working on PTO run dryers. And the acceptance has come in that because it is lucrative for the farmer to plant and grow maize, and he has an assured market space with the ethanol market. Even if the quality goes down a little bit, they know that the ethanol producers are there in the market to buy. Now, sir, within the quality parameters, there is another parameter of broken percentage which comes up, which is normally, if you were to talk 9 months out of the year, this broken percentage is no parameter. But when in the northern states, when it comes to spring maize, the distilleries start putting in a parameter of broken percentage as well. Because when we start processing maize, spring maize, into the dryers, the broken percentage increases because it keeps on revolving in the dryer over and over and over again, and the amount of times the elevator is picking it up, throwing it, the broken percentage keeps on increasing. It goes up to 12 to 14% as well. So that is a parameter where traditionally speaking, we would just reject it. But now we have an acceptance that yes, there is an X amount of breakage which will happen in these dryers, and that also becomes a part of the quality parameter, which is not discussed anywhere else, but that is only for the spring maize market because the starch is there. Even if it is broken, it really doesn't matter, but it will have a small discount to it. And so we have discussed with ICAR numerous times about aflatoxin, but over time, automatically, as the farmers want to automate harvesting, the farmers want to use mechanical dryers, and the farmer wants to give a product which is sellable in the market, and also the suppliers in the market who are buying from the farmers, the agents, they also know that the quality parameters are clear at less than 15%, fungal percentage is clear, and dust percentage is clear. So more and more every going year, every growing season, what we see, especially in the spring maize, is that post-harvest management has come leaps and bounds, and which is helping us in the quality. Because if you look at it, for almost about 7 months in a year, 8 months in a year, we are exporting DDGS. Now that DDGS is carrying aflatoxins, but it is not carrying the amount of aflatoxins that we were carrying in 2023, 24. This year, because the rains were delayed, aflatoxins on date are even in northern India, are very much under control. Normally Punjab is at 150, 200 ppm. Now we are ranging around 50, 55 before the rains. So quality parameters with every going season are coming into control because the farmer is also, mechanization is coming in, dryers are coming in. So these are the quality parameters that we normally run by. And if we were to talk about what are the requirements of the industry and how is the industry changing in terms of from an agriculture point of view, not from the industry point of view, but agriculture and industry, one thing is very clear that we need to, the demand of the industry or the requirement of the industry is we need varieties which are higher in starch, but they should also be high yielding for the farmer. Then only the farmer will plant. Because we not today, but in the time to come, will have to compete in the international market also for ethanol. So the starch percentage is what the industry's demand is, that the starch percentage in maize should increase as much as we can increase it. And it should be high yielding so that the farmer accepts it. The farmer is accepting the crop compared to other conventional crops because it is lucrative for him. And until about 6 months ago, there was no discussion on oil percentage in corn. So, as I was saying, that the industry is evolving with every growing season. The farmers are also evolving. The post-harvest management is also evolving. So now grain distilleries have started extracting corn oil from the maize that we are using. So our request also is that we need to start working this is for the seed companies, for ICAR is already working on it, that if we can develop varieties which have a higher oil percentage within the maize, 3-4%, but again, extractable percentage is also higher. What that will do is that will help the industry pay a higher price also. If the prices are going higher, with the byproducts, it increases the buying power of the industry. So that it is a win-win for the farmer, the industry, and it's a similar thing to, for example, the amount of in the sugar cane, there was a variety called 238, which was widely accepted within the farmers, and it changed the industry because the area grew, recoveries were higher. A similar kind of thing, I think, is required in maize as well from an oil percentage point of view, because that is something predominantly new which has come into the industry. So going forward, what we see is that where the industry was, let's say 3 years ago versus where we are when we started off with maize versus where we are today, there's a lot of things which have changed. DDGS animal was not accepted in animal feed three years ago. Today, it is predominantly well accepted. Blending percentages are increasing for DDGS, which is a cattle feed from maize. And likewise, I would say there are about good 20-25 odd factories, if I'm not mistaken, who are extracting oil. And as the oil extraction percentage is also increasing, there will be certain varieties which will be where the demand will come from. There'll be certain areas from where we will start demanding more. We may pay a premium because the oil content is higher. So if you were to look at it, the demand is for starch, for oil, and for the farmer, we have to keep the farmer in mind that the yields also have to be higher. So, and we've been discussing this constantly with Dr. Jat Saab as well, and we have received a lot of support from the team at ICAR. And as we have seen in the last 3 years, the kind of changes that have happened in terms of the quantum of maize available in the market, to be honest, the industry was not very, we were not very sure that we would have received this kind of growth in grain. And we are thankful to ICAR, Government of India, for pushing this maize program ahead. And in a nutshell, if I was to sum everything up, quality is in control. With every going year, farmers, for example, everybody wants a maize harvester to harvest their crop. Likewise, maize dryers have come in. Likewise, quality parameters have come into control. Likewise, this aflatoxin issue, which was in the last 3 years, have reduced. I would say the aflatoxin issue has reduced drastically in the last 3 years from 200. Now we are at probably 70-80 ppm. But I think this will also come into control. And corn oil as a new source, demand is immense for maize, and the demand will only be upward. There is more than enough capacity. There is more than enough demand which is being generated over years. It will take a couple of years to do that. But the only feedstock that we see that can fulfill all of these requirements would be maize. Sugar has its limitations. rice has its limitations, and maize does not have only a one byproduct, but two byproducts, DDGS and corn oil. So which makes it more attractive as a feedstock to consume. So that is what I have to say. If anybody has any questions, I'm open for questions.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, there are some questions in the chat box, sir. One question is, at what rate ethanol being sold to government by the distillers?
Sir, ethanol is being for maize. Ethanol is being sold to the OMCs at 71.3. Then for ethanol yield out of 1 kg of maize and rice. So for maize, it is about 360 to 65. I think it all depends on what the amount of starch content in there. But if you were to take a ballpark figure, I would put it at about 360, 355, 60, somewhere around there. Then from rice, it is the yield is about 450 for every ton. For sugar cane, there are 2-3 different feedstocks. One is sugarcane juice, B heavy, and C. I have the figure, a tentative figure for sugarcane juice, which is about I think 75 or 78 liters per ton of sugarcane crushed. But for the rest, I can get back to you, sir. Burning issue is farmers are not getting price for maize, which is selling at 1,200 to 1,500. Now, sir, very good question on the burning issue of the farmers not getting the price for maize, which is selling at 1,200 to 1,500. Now, how did we get to this position? Now, this position has only arisen this year. If we were to talk about last year, the year before, the last 3 years, from a maize point of view, in terms of farmer payments, has been very good. Would everybody agree with that? I think almost everybody will agree. This year, what has happened is, if you see, out of the whole tender, the government has pushed FCI rice because there is immense pressure on the government to liquidate their stocks also, and there is no storage space available in the godowns as well for the government for rice and wheat. So what has happened is the percentage of allocation of maize to ethanol was reduced this year, and the allocation to rice was so the allocation to rice was increased. So there was a shortfall of demand which got created, due to which the prices went down. Now, if you were to look at today, because at that time the sugar season was going on, when the state of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and MP were harvesting. Now, from March, when the sugar season stopped and the allocations for the grain ethanol started coming in more demand, in more supply, you will see that Bihar prices picked up. Today also, if you were to look at it, UP, for example, the prices of factory gate today in UP are ranging from 22.40, 50 up to 23.50 as well. The range today is gone up. So because the supply is only from grain distillers. So when the supply is there, the millers are there in the market to buy and supply. So that is why you've seen the prices go up. Lab for testing starch and ethanol. So the labs for starch and ethanol, I think if you can just elaborate on that question.
Probably he want to know about where the labs are there for these things.
Oh, so the labs for starch testing are located within the factory premises itself. Every distillery has a lab. But apart from this, We also double check the starch and ethanol results with outside labs like Shriram, etc.
One more question is there on what specific intervention, whether in hybrid selection, grain quality, aggregation, procurement would most strengthen and reliable dual feedstock ethanol value chain in UP, potato belt. So already you have narrated, many points on it, but still
Yes.
1 or 2 points you can highlight, sir.
Yes. Sir, I think the question is related to if it's related to potato and if we can make ethanol from that. I'm not very well versed with that, but
It is related to potato belt corn.
corn, yes.
What
So,
kind of corn we require and how we can strengthen for this?
okay. So, sir, like I was saying, I think what we've seen is whenever corn is harvested at about 22% moisture, this is like what trials that we have done within our farms, is that whenever corn or maize is harvested at about 22%, 23% moisture, our starch hits 58%, 60%. Whenever in spring maize, what we see is that the farmer is also, because there's the rain clouds are on top of them, they are also in a hurry to get their crop out of the field. So the farmers end up going in and harvesting crops at 30%. Also in Punjab, we see farmers harvesting at 45% as well. So whenever the farmer ends up harvesting a crop at a high moisture content, the number of degree days or sunlight hours have not been met, so the starch content goes down. So whenever the starch content goes down, what you will see is that for example, in Punjab, the price of maize, of spring maize, is normally lower because Punjab maize starch is only 56%, 57%. It does not hit 58 as well. Whereas today in UP, we are hitting 60 before the rains because it got dried. Farmers got more than enough with this delayed monsoon. The farmers got enough time to harvest dry, and they were not harvesting wet maize. So I would say if it is harvested on with the number of degree days and number of crop days, selling the crop is not an issue.
So many questions are coming up. One is about what are the regional and seasonal differences among the ethanol extractability, means from where we are getting the maize, in which season. Any
Yes.
input on that, sir, please?
Sir, what we've seen is directly linked to starch content. What we've seen is the crop in MP is quite decent because obviously it is being harvested when there's no rainfall happening, and the farmers are not under pressure to harvest a premature crop. Likewise, in what we say Bihar, we see the same. In Rajasthan, it's a hit and miss. Sometimes it is at par with the MP. Sometimes the starch is low. But if you were to look at it, Bihar, MP, and also the crop up to the monsoon start hitting, anything which is harvested before, let's say, the 1st of July, aflatoxins is not an issue. The farmer is not in a hurry. He is drying it and then harvesting it. Quality is not an issue over there, and yields are also not an issue. So Punjab and Haryana and now parts of UP, for example, Aligarh, Sambal, Chandosi, all of this area, because the farmer is in a hurry to get the crop off and he's harvesting a premature crop, the starch content goes down and it directly affects the yields of ethanol.
Sir, on the other day, we were discussing about the drying technologies and
Yes.
their impact on starch recovery. Can you please highlight that issue?
Yes.
One more question is there. What is the impact of using contaminated maize grain for fermentation?
Sir, contamination. Well, the impact that we see on contamination is only fungal that we see. That's the contamination I would consider. If the fungal is higher, the main impact that we actually end up happening is that we end up having is on the sale price of the DDGS, which is the cattle feed, because the aflatoxin levels go up, number one, which end up reducing the price of the cattle feeds that we sell, which is a byproduct, thus reducing the profitability, or it ends up increasing the cost of production. So that is the biggest contaminant that we see which comes in. Anything which is, let's say, if you were to say pest infested, we normally don't buy it. So I would not, if somebody's talking about pest infestation, normally we do not buy that. So the only thing that we buy, which would be considered contamination, is fungal. And then, sir, now going on to the maize dryers. So we have invested in a batch type maize dryer, where we are churning out close to about 400 to 500 tons, depending on the moisture content of the corn which is coming in. What we see is that through dryers, when we run it through dryers, yes, we are able to process a lot of raw material in terms of volumes, and you can do storage, number one. But if you were to compare that to sun drying, we also do about 200 to 250 tons of maize drying in the sun, and in Punjab predominantly. But what we see is that because it is slow drying, sun dried, the starch content is higher by almost 1 to 1.5% compared to the conventional, the mechanical dryers that we have. And in the mechanical dryers, because the amount of times it is moving from one dryer to the elevator and back into the dryer over and over again, we have a dust formation, which we call atta formation, and which ends up, due to which, because that ends up flying, so we have a starch loss. So our starch reduces by 1.5%. Number one. Number two, if we end up using or drying maize, which is 50%, which we have done in the past, what we see is that has a direct impact on our, again, cattle feed, because the syrup that we use to dry, that goes black, and the quality of DDGS goes down. It becomes a very dark brown, and then the price is slashed by about 15%. So now what we do is we do not dry anything, we do not buy anything from the market which is more than 30% moisture.
So nice of you, sir. Again, questions are coming. We
Sure.
can take one or two more questions. Okay. One is on how does contaminated maize influences DDGS quality and ethanol production. I think it already covered issue, sir. What quality control measures are in place to ensure the safety of portable ethanol?
Sir, ethanol portable, by portable, do you mean the human consumption? The ethanol is not for human consumption. So the quality parameters which we normally go for are that the strength should be high enough, and water content should not be there. That is predominantly the main quality parameter which is there, that the strength should be 99.7 or 99.8% plus.
Okay, thank you. Any other question from any other participants? Today session is so, interactive. There are many questions coming up. Ranaji, you have highlighted very pertinent and questions, as well as you highlighted what are the need of industries and other things. We are very grateful for accepting our request and being on this particular training. So at last one, we got one more question. Is ethanol damaging vehicle performance and responding for water and wear and tear of automobile? It is very burning issue of the nation. I think, it is burning issue of the nation. Here, neither Ranaji and nor we are the expert to comment on it.
Sir, we can comment. We are kind of experts. We are in the industry. So,
Yeah.
sir,
Okay. But okay, Rana, yeah. So
Sir-
you may respond to these questions because this is very burning. Everybody knows it.
so sir,
Yeah.
the only, let's say the only impact, if there is any, on the use of ethanol is that there is about a 2 to 3% reduction in mileage. That is the only impact that there is. Now, on social media, we see a lot of things like, we've come across people saying कि चींटी लग गई मेरी टैंक में गन्ने का जूस से बनी है. So those are all, I don't know why people are not questioning that. It just goes beyond science. It goes through distillation process. So चींटी वगैरह तो लग ही नहीं सकती. Number one, if you were to talk about wear and tear, and that if it is damaging engines, no, it is not damaging engines. We had in the past, what do we say, meetings with Honda as well. This is about going back almost 2 years ago. And they had come to study as to what can be done in India, where is the ethanol program going. And when we were discussing with them, they had said that their Honda vehicles since 2010, even when the ethanol blending program was not mature enough, they said that since 2010, their vehicles are equipped for E20 as well. They said we have not labeled it because it did not exist. So the only effect is mileage. This whole thing कि पानी मिल जाता है, पानी हट जाता है. सर अगर कोई पानी मिलाएगा उसमें, दूध में भी मिलाएंगे, पानी मिलेगा. But if you were to talk about the properties that, like people are saying that you mix water into ethanol and then it separates, it is not correct. We do it on a day-to-day basis. Every tanker which leaves the factory, there are quality samples which are taken, which are sent to, what do we say, OMCs and excise, where they keep these samples to make sure that the quality parameters have been met. Every tanker, once it is offloaded at the OMC, they have their own quality checks. And to be honest, there are numerous times where tankers are rejected also on quality. But the quality is of strength, and it is not that it separates from petrol like it is being discussed on social media. So more than anything, I would say that we only need to have a scientific debate on this and not a social media based debate on this, which is what our organization is also trying to do, is get a lot of these social media influencers who are putting up allegations and false information. So we're trying to get everybody onto a common platform, and we answer everybody's questions.
Rightly said, sir. I will just add 1 or 2 points from the people told about others. One is, the statement from our Honorable Minister itself, Nitin Gadkari itself. The another is from Toyota chairman. You can just Google it, what Toyota chairman said about the E20 or E30 amenable, all of their vehicles. So Honda already there, Toyota, then most probably others also. Because I just want to put before all the audience that in 2003 itself, this biofuel policy and other things were, started discussing. Okay, so in 2008 also there was policy, but they were not, able to envisage that it will be implemented in that faster pace after 2018. Okay, so only thing is there are so many flex fuel vehicles are also coming up. So Honda already made, and then E85, petrol pumps are already in place in Delhi. So definitely, whatever issues are there, the government is looking after, and because government is for citizen, I think they will see other issues if they are coming. But you can see the company themselves, they are claiming like that, and some people even they are claiming for diesel vehicle, they are getting damaged. So in diesel, ethanol is not mixed. This is for all users. It is not mixed in the diesel. It is only mixed in the petrol. Okay. Yeah, one question is there any microbes used in this process? Definitely it is being used, but
Yes.
Rana sir will tell more. Rana sir, please.
Sir, we are using yeast and enzymes in the process, in the liquefaction and the fermentation process to extract the available starch, the sugars to increase, to generate the alcohol percentage from the starch. So yes, there are organisms which are being used at the moment, but at the moment they are all non-GMO.
Okay, thank you, sir. Very illustrating and great discussion we held today. So thank you so much for kindly agreeing our request and being a part of this particular training program. And we all, from all the participant side and from IMR side, we thank you, and also we will be, there for whatever issue you raised. We will work on future in collaboration. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jat Sahab. Thank you to ICAR for always being a phone call away whenever we have issues, sorting everything out. And I think that is why the Maize story has been a success, because of your and Dr. Jat Saab's availability 24/7. We are very grateful as an industry for all your support as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Roman, now we can, we go for the participant feedbacks and other forms already being circulated. All of you are requested to kindly fill it up. Okay, and submit it. That will be required, especially for to knowing whether we are done fairly well, because one day only left. Okay, so we are giving up to till tomorrow, say 6:30. Okay, 6:30 p.m. till tomorrow. You can fill it up. After that, we will be closing this and we'll making report for presentation in our valedictory section. So I think now we can close this session. Any other things we have, team?
Doctor, yeah, form, we have not yet received the form, only we have received the message on the WhatsApp.
Yeah, we will be sharing this form. Just we are
On the
making
email?
some corrections
Yeah.
because we are covering
Just we
this,
sharing, just sharing in group.
yeah. So we are just taking the this particular topic also into consideration. So we will be sharing it, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
In the group as well as by email also we can send, but sometimes what happens, people have not participated. That's the issue, big thing. But anyway, that happens in the online training program like this. So we'll be sharing the group, and also we can send an email also, Manish. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so just after finish of this meeting, sir, we will be sharing, so we can close this meeting now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a nice time.